Hi, my name is Lena Scott, and this is Lighthouse. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but in my everyday time, day to day life, I drive a school bus. And this morning, right as we got to school and I was getting ready to let the kids off the bus, one little girl says, I don't want to go to school. And I kind of got upset, but not in a mad way, just in a way that I told her, I said, do you realize how lucky you are that you live here? You should be grateful. You're getting a free education. You have a home to live in. You have running water. You have food to eat. You have everything you need. And I said, there's other countries where there's children that don't have those things. They don't get to go to school. They don't have clean water. They don't have an indoor toilet to go to. And I know I want to help people, but when some of our kids today don't realize, even though there's a lot of things going on in our world, they really are not as, they just don't understand how good that they have it. And so it just seems a good thing to maybe we should remind our children sometimes how lucky they are, because they just don't realize in their day-to-day life that people in other countries don't have a Walmart to walk into. They don't have a grocery store to just go get what they need. And we take everything for granted. And the older I get, the more I realize how much for granted we take how free we are in our country. And mind you, our country isn't it has its own things going on. But we are so blessed and lucky to live here, to have a home to live in, to have running water and have food. And you normally, I realize there are some people in America that don't have that, but for the most part, the general population, we do. It's the ones that fall through the cracks I worry about, but I just think that everybody should be more mindful of being grateful for what we do have every day, because there are so many people in other countries, they don't have it. And I realize we have this thing with Russia and Ukraine going on, and I'm hoping that everybody's praying for them every day. I know I am. But we are still blessed to be here, to have what we have. And we just don't stop and think about it sometimes. And so this is a day of practicing mindfulness. And I don't want to be one of those YouTubers that talks about what everybody else is talking about. But I'm thinking in the context of our children. And our children just, unless we point it out to them and they don't see it, so maybe there's a talk you should have with your child today. I'm not telling no one how to be a parent, but it's just something to think about. And sometimes these things, I just think about them. So I feel like I should share that, because not everybody stops and think about those kind of things, or what I know some parents do, but some parents don't. We get so caught up in our everyday lives that it pays to remind yourself too, in your children, and be blessed and grateful that you have a family that loves you, or that you have friends that love you, that you have a place to call home, and the things that go with it, that you have a grocery store that you can go to get the food that you need, because some countries, some people, they don't have that. And unless you see it, you just don't think about it. And that's just something I wanted to point out today. The other thing is I don't think as many people are on a spiritual path. I mean, we get into ruts. We get into ruts of where we get so caught up in the everyday to day grind. I know there's times I do. So I figure if I do, maybe other people do too, and maybe they just aren't thinking about it. So in helping other people and in wanting to practice mindfulness, maybe we should take some time out of our days to switch them up a bit. Maybe your everyday habit of going, by a certain store, you could maybe go to another store one day. Switch it up a little bit. Maybe one day, instead of going to the local park, you go to the library instead. Just to remind yourself that you have all these other options, and that there are things that we should be grateful for. Because even the joy of reading a book, other countries, other people, other places, they can't just go to a library, pick up a book. Maybe they don't even know how to read. So being grateful for the things that we do have here in America, we should be grateful for those. And if you see someone that needs help in those areas, there's literacy programs out there. There's things in the local libraries. Libraries, believe it or not, they teach a lot. Last time I was in my local library, they had all kind of programs going on, and I hadn't really thought about it. maybe something to think about for kids during summer when they, after the first week or two of them laying around and being happy to be out of school, they start getting bored. So maybe a library program is a good idea. So I'm just saying, just think about some things we haven't thought about in a while, things that we should be grateful for. Because we do live in a country where we have what other people in other countries don't, So that's my message for today of trying to help other people and talking about mindfulness, but just in a little bit different way of being mindful of. So maybe we could all think about some of those things some more. So that's my message today. And I mean this all very well in love and light. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day. And thank you for listening and sharing and liking and subscribing to me. I'm Lana Scott, and this is Lighthouse.